Hey guys, Randall here, Bragging Rights Precision. Hope you're having a blessed and wonderful day as always. So today we're going to be reviewing a brand new toy. So who doesn't love to anneal the rifle brass? I mean, come on guys. You don't anneal, you get spring back, you get kind of crazy neck tensions, vary across the board. You don't get as long a brass life. I mean, annealing is important on your rifle brass. So why not have a really great annealer? Normally, we use a flame annealer. What's the problem with that in a reloading room full of gunpowder? I mean, come on, guys. Nothing wrong with that, right? Jokes aside, they work great. Not exactly the safest if you're in a small area for your reloading room. You have a separate area you can do it in. That's the safest, and that's great. We've been wanting to play with an induction style annealer. So a company called Fluxeon makes the Annie annealer. It is an induction annealer, and they were kind enough to send us one for review. We will be doing a basic setup video, and I'm going to show you how it works, and we're going to make our own decision on what we think of it. So if you're ready for an honest review, let's get this thing put together, and let's start annealing some brass. So as you can see, this thing is built very, very beautifully. The case is very much quality. All the parts are quality. I don't see anything cheap on this unit. The fans are really nice, plenty of fans. The fan in the rear, my understanding is that they changed those. The 1.0 version had a 40 millimeter fan that was very loud. They went to a double-sized 80 millimeter fan on the 1.5 version, but it's actually quieter. They made a change on the coils. That's now a spring-loaded setup when it goes in versus a set screw before, which had a tendency of arcing. As you can see in the instructions, there's a warning. Tells you make sure there is no gap between the mating parts. A bad or incomplete connection will cause an arc, destroying the transistors inside. Arcing in transistors and capacitors and other electronic components, that is not a good combination, so let's pay close attention to that as we put it together. Now, what the company told me, do not try to plug it in strictly by just the plastic part. Actually grab the coil along with the T-fittings and push it in, because what that does, this whole thing is connected into the spring connectors. If you push in just this part, it can push the connectors backwards and they will not latch tight enough, which was the problem I had. That's why I called them about it. Once I grabbed it like they told me and pushed it in until I heard a positive click, 2 clicks actually, one on each side, now I'm having no problems. Very important to note that. Page 4, setting up for the first time. For the water recirculator, insert the DB9 cable in the front panel connector and the female 2.5 millimeter connector into the recirculator's mating power jack. You don't want to over tighten these screws. Connector is in firmly. Let's pull out our excess. Accidentally pulled out the grommet. No big deal. Easy fix. So they give you plenty of cord. And now, need to attach the power cord. It's going to plug into the rear of the unit. Let's not plug that in just yet. Not to power anyways, you are plugging it into the rear of the unit. So they don't have anything in the instructions about exactly how to do your piping. It's really simple. It's a very simple loop. They give you plenty of extra as far as your tubing goes. The center is going to be the one that pumps out from your pump. Ran that to one side of my coil. Came out of the other side into the top of the fan. Bottom of the fan and radiator. Back into the return. Very, very simple. I filled it up just using bottled water. This thing is 16.9 ounces. Important to remember because you need to add 1 ounce for every 16 ounces of purified water. So I know I need about an ounce. This little bottle holds, what, 8 ounces? So kind of a guess, unless you want to sit and measure it out. Let's bleed this thing and then we can adjust the water level. So let's turn our unit on. And we have a water leak. Lesson learned, these fittings, you have to push extremely hard on all of these fittings. And when that hose is seated properly, you will definitely feel that final pop and give when it slips in. You think that you've pushed hard on it, but it has not gone in, I promise you. So I think we have that solved. Turn the unit on. Let everything bleed out. And as you can see, our water level definitely dropped because it had to fill the hoses in the radiator. Now that we know we don't have any leaks, we're going to turn the unit back off. We're going to top off our water. This does not have to be full completely to the top. Probably about 80%, I believe, would be plenty. So we held about 75% of the water bottle. Okay, so I think we're good to go. And now we can plug everything in. So now let's use some tie straps. And let's tie strap our tubing together. I tried to do this fairly strategically. Now, when you cut your tubing, if you're going to use the adjustable scissor stand, make sure that you cut your tubing at a length that allows you to raise it up and down. You don't want to cut it too short. You should be able to raise this completely up. See how everything clears? So now while it's up, let's just put a few tie straps on. Keep the tubing together. Don't pull it so tight that you pinch the tubing shut. Also, do not put a tie strap down here too close to these fittings. If you do so, you'll pull the fittings sideways or the tubing sideways in the fittings. You're going to have issues. You don't want them to leak. Keep this nice and simple. Pull these tight enough that they don't slide, but also that they don't pinch anything together. Easy peasy. 3 small tie straps, problem solved. Now that we have it all set up, we're going to go through and show you how to program it and set everything to anneal your brass. Now, I kept mine simple. I like simple things. Piece of 4x4, drilled some holes, 223, 308, 300 PRC. That way I have something to set this in. I can drop my brass in, get it pretty much centered. Then all I have to do is drop it in each time. Now, later on, I will go ahead and make me a really nice stand for this thing. But for now, and for the video, we're going to keep it simple, and this is something you can easily do at home. Now, these can be shipped 2 ways. They can be shipped programmed for simple, single, which has 1 segment and then has easy control time. All other functions are disabled. Now, mine was shipped as an advanced quartic. So it has 4 timing segments. You have relay out functions to be able to do other things with it. Later on, if I want to add a automated table with a drop chute or different options, I can add those to it. Today, we're going to keep things simple. So we're going to show you how to disable that and just set up your unit for starters. To get started, we have some 750 degree Templac. Now, when we anneal these cases, we want to be sure that we don't go too far down the case. So I'm going to make this stripe go all the way up. Because I want to see how far down my heat range goes. You get too far down to the bottom of the case, you want this part down here to stay hard. You don't want case separation. You want this up here to be softer, so you get consistent neck tensions, consistent shoulders. So there is a small amount of art to it. Let that Templac dry. While that's happening, let's go through and set this up. I'm going to turn the unit on. Going to press the knob. I want to disable the first quadric. See how I can change that? You're going to want that at 0.1. Second quadric, same thing. 0.1, you're going to disable it. Your third quadric is going to be your actual anneal time. So I have played around with this a little bit, and pretty much 2.7 seconds seems to be good. A couple of different ways to do this. I kept it simple. I started low and worked my way up until I got it to do what I wanted it to do on the template. So you're going to hit it again, or set it again, just pushing it. The fourth quadrant, you want to do the 0.1 that disables it. Push it again. Light went out for set, and you're ready. So let's put a case in here. Get it centered up. Now, on your template, what you want to do is get your timing until it goes pretty much translucent. Not black, but translucent. So let's see what happens. And we'll see if I got my case height about right. Let's raise that up just a little bit and see what happens. I don't want to get too far down the case, as I was saying. Press start. And it went translucent. And let's see how far down it went translucent. Get that to focus. So it went translucent, but only right to the edge of the shoulder. We need that to go just a little bit lower. So I need to lower my coil. Run another cycle. Let's see where we made it. I'd say that's a little better. That's right about where I want it. Let me grab something to use as a pointer because I don't want to burn my fingers. So we went translucent. Turned a little bit black because I did it twice. Right there is my anneal line. Anything below that, it did not turn it. So I know that my heat is stopping right about where I want it. There's a nice anneal line. And now we have our Annie set where we want it. So we're going to show you how to make sure that you have everything correct. Make sure you're annealing everything the way that it should be at the right temperatures and the right spot. These coils, they work off of a magnetic field. In fact, you can watch the cartridge move inside the coil when it's running. So this is normal. The first few cases that you do, they won't get quite as hot. There's a whole bunch of technical to that. The short layman's terms of it is, it just takes the system a little bit to get the magnetic fields, all of them running evenly. This is normal. Basically, run a few through, cycle them back into your pan, then use the one with the template. So we're going to add a couple in. We've played running the coil up and down until we have it heating about where we want it. You can see the smoke. Have a small amount of anneal. The next one will be a little bit more intense. That one you can see it a little bit better on. There we go. There's where we want to be. So now we'll use the one with the Templac. So again, the idea is to get the Templac to just turn translucent. Not black, translucent. Do not set it to where it turns translucent while it still has part of the cycle going. What you want the cycle to do is stop as it flashes. And that is your perfect spot. Kicked out, and there it flashes. So we have it even up the neck, and you can see it did not turn it just below the shoulder, which is what you want. You don't want it going down into the body of the case or down near the base of it. You want to keep that hard. That way you don't have case separation. All you want is the neck primarily and then the shoulder. That was a really nice anneal, and we're ready to go with the whole lineup, however many that you have. Getting a nice anneal on them now. And these are mixed head stamp. So there's always going to be a little bit of variance. The only way you're going to cure that is to sort your head stamps and brands. Different brands, head stamps, thicknesses make a little bit of a difference. But if you're running mixed like these, you should be able to find a happy medium that's going to work perfectly fine. But you can watch that case. See it move? That's that field working. All right, guys. Pretty much covers it. I hope this is helpful. Really nice unit. Very impressed with it. Had many talks back and forth with the company. Gave me great information. Helped me make sure I have everything working the way it's supposed to. All right, guys, another one in the books. The Fluxeon Annie Annealer. Overall, as far as my review goes, this thing is made excellent. No real issues with it that I could fault it for, that's for sure. Once I figured out how to set it up correctly, program it, this thing just seems to work great. I do believe that they are working on an automated system for the cases. I should imagine it'll have a trap door that's motorized on it to drop the cases. That's part of the programming that we were talking about that you can have with this thing. I tuned all that out like we showed in the video because I don't need it yet. Hopefully we can get one of the new automated setups for it when they come out. We'll see. So other than that, it just has a few things to watch out for. The main thing is that connector. Can't emphasize that enough. Just have to make sure it clicks in properly. Other than that, check for your water leaks like we showed you. It was nice that the first time I did it, it had a leak so I could show you what to look for and what to do if it happens. So that was a fault on my end. Hopefully I saved you the trouble. Other than that, man, it just works great. You're going to enjoy using it. You're going to enjoy annealing your brass. You're going to have some even neck tensions. Shoulders should size out real well on your head spacing. It's going to be great, guys. So I'm going to enjoy the heck out of this thing. I'm going to go ahead and get a slap switch for it and make it easier. That way I don't have to press the button on the front every single time. They also make a foot pedal. So I suggest either one of those. I'm going to get one coming. So, man, I'm really looking forward to this. I like it so much better than my flame annealer, which again works fine. A lot more temperamental to get set up correctly. Plus, again, you know, like we said in the beginning, what could go wrong with an open flame in a room full of gunpowder? Feel a little safer now. So anyways, guys, God bless.